Hello everyone, this side Diksha Ahuja, your economics teacher. Welcome back to my channel Economics Zone by Diksha Ahuja. So in today's video, I have again come up with class 11th Microeconomics chapter Theory of Demand of Unit 2. So in this chapter, till now we have covered the determinants of individual demand. And now in today's video, I'm gonna complete the market demand function. Right, the determinants of market demand, and after that we'll know about law of demand and exceptions of law of demand, and in the end I will give you some difference between expansion and contraction, increase and decrease in demand. So let's start. So market demand function. In the previous video, if you have seen, then you must know about individual demand function. Individual demand function includes price of the commodity, price of related good, income of the consumer, normal goods and inferior goods, taste and preference, future price expectation. But what is market demand? The demand by all the consumers for that particular commodity in the market. Let's say in a market there are 5 consumers for one commodity. So market demand will be adding the demand of all the 5 consumers. So for that, we need to include 2 more determinants in market demand function. That means price of a commodity, price of related good, income, taste and preference, and future price expectation are also the determinants of market demand function. But there are 2 more factors, there are 2 more determinants that affect market demand function explicitly, which are population, that is noted to be N, and distribution of income, that is noted to be YD. Right, so let's talk about both one by one quickly. So first one is N. N is composition of population. This is very interesting. Just think about, if the population increases, what will happen to the demand of a commodity? It depends on which composition of population is increasing. Let's say the demand of cosmetics are increasing. Why the demand of cosmetics will increase? Let's say the female population in a country is increasing, and because of that, because the population of females, you can say, population of females, number of females in a country is increasing. So demand for the products demanded by females, such as cosmetics, will be increasing. So increase in population of that composition increases demand. Right? And you know that increase in demand is shown by rightward shift. Right? Increase in demand is shown by rightward shift from Q to Q1, and price will not change. Price will remain constant. So, rise in the population of, let's say, female will increase the demand of cosmetics. So, on the other hand, if the population of females will decrease, the demand of cosmetics will decrease. So, in that case, demand curve will shift leftwards. It can be with any composition. Let's say the population of babies are increasing, then the demand for diapers will increase. Right? Okay, the next distribution of income. Income can be equally distributed or income can be unequally distributed. Right? Just think about in which case they will be, without looking here, just think about yourself. कि किस केस में ज़्यादा डिमांड होगी? In the case में equal distribution is there, in the case में unequal distribution is there. In the case when unequal distribution is there, there will be less demand. Why? Because let's talk about the demand of wheat, the flour, right? आटे की हम बात करते हैं. So the demand will be limited only, right? Because the rich people will not eat more chapatis, right? Because it is cheaper or any other reason, right? But if there is an equal distribution, that means each and every individual is capable of purchasing that commodity. उस केस में demand ज़्यादा होगी, right? In unequal distribution, poor people cannot afford the commodity. The poor person will not purchase that commodity, but the rich will purchase in limited quantity. So when there is unequal distribution, there will be less demand, and we know if we are having less demand, the demand curve will shift leftwards given the price of the commodity. And if the distribution is equal, then there will be more demand, right? Because each and every person is having equal opportunity, equal capacity to purchase that commodity, so that will be rightward shift. So these are the 2 more determinants that are included in market demand function, apart from all the factors in individual demand function. So the next topic we are starting is law of demand and what are the exceptions of law of demand. So next topic is law of demand. So in Greek we say other things being constant, like all other factors constant, there is an inverse relationship between price of the commodity and quantity demanded. As the price of the commodity rises, the quantity demanded falls, right? As the commodity becomes expensive, like it is costly now, so we demand less of that commodity. So what we say that in Greek, ceteris paribus. What do you mean by ceteris paribus? Ceteris paribus means other things being constant, such that price of substitute good is constant, price of any related good is constant, income of the consumer is constant, and all other factors are also constant. So other things being constant, there is a inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. As the price demanded, the relation starts from price side, right? As the price rises, the quantity demanded falls, or as the price falls, the quantity demanded rises. Right? This is known as law of demand. One question arises that why demand curve which looks like this? You should remember, I am making it again, that quantity demanded is on x-axis, quantity demanded is on x-axis, and price is on y-axis, and a downward sloping line is demand curve showing inverse relation between price and quantity demanded. Right? So as the price falls, the quantity demanded rises. So the question arises that why there is an inverse relation between them. There can be so many reasons, right? Because of law of demand we say that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. It is always the case, जब price कम होगा तो हम ज़्यादा purchase करना चाहेंगे, isn't it? Okay, but still there are some cases जहाँ पर ऐसा नहीं होता है, right? We'll talk about all those cases now. That means we'll talk about exceptions of law of demand. ऐसी commodities जहाँ पर law of demand work नहीं करता. Many commodities in which we say price and quantity demanded are not inversely related. The very first example I can give you is necessity good, right? What are necessity good? Let us take an example of salt. Let's take the price of salt increases from 20 rupees kg to 30 rupees kg. Think about, your mother will put less salt in the dishes. Think about. No. That means if the price of necessity good rises, quantity demanded इतने से fall नहीं होता है. There is not that much reduction in quantity demanded. Right? So what we are about to say, that necessity goods are not being applied for law of demand, because as the price increases, quantity demanded change नहीं होती है. Right? So here also law of demand is not working. Then articles of distinction. Many products which are different, unique. Let's say like old vintage cars, old cars, like old coins we got. Right? So these are valuable items. Antique painting. Right? Antique paintings are being demanded in the economy, in the exhibitions at a good level. Right? As the price, when there are auction for any painting, as the price rises, the demand rises. If you have attended any of the exhibition, it happens कि जैसे उसका price बढ़ता है, तो quantity demanded also rises. So articles of distinction such as vintage cars, which are old, which are unique, as the price rises, the quantity demanded do not fall. So here also, in these goods also, law of demand is not applied. Right? Next, I hope these two are clear. Next is Giffen Goods. What are Giffen Goods? At the time of German, like you can say German war, there was an economist, Robert Giffen. He saw that people are eating low quality products, inferior goods, right? And the prices is increasing. उनका price बढ़ रहा था, and people are increasing their demand for that price, because at the time of war in Germany, right, price was increasing for bread and potato. There was bad quality bread and like very very bad quality potato, right? But then also people were consuming and increasing the demand. So there he saw an exception and named those goods as Giffen Goods. So Giffen Goods are those inferior, those low quality products. You should remember the definition of Giffen Goods. Giffen Goods are those low quality products whose demand increases with the increase in price. So here the law of demand do not work, and demand curve is downward sloping from up down. No. In this case, demand curve is upward sloping. As price rises, quantity demanded also rises. Is that clear? So Giffen Goods are those low quality products where there is a direct relationship where there is a direct relationship between price and quantity demanded. So Giffen Goods, the concept is given by Robert Giffen. So now let's come to the difference between expansion and contraction. Right? If you can see here, right, the meaning is given, expansion and contraction. दोनों में movements होती हैं, right? In both cases, movement is taking. You can see the picture here. In both the cases, what is happening? Movement. But in expansion of demand, what is happening? Downward movement. क्योंकि as what is expansion of demand? As the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So there is a downward movement. And in contraction, there is a upward movement in demand curve. Right? So in both the cases, law of demand is working. You can see the difference here. Right? Meaning reasons are different. Right? In that case, downward movement takes place. In contraction of demand, demand कम हो रही है. Right? Because of increase in price. So both the reasons are price. But in expansion of demand, falling price is the reason, and in contraction of demand, rise in price is the reason. So next is difference between increase in demand and decrease in demand. You know, increase in demand means increase in demand because of any of the factor other than price. Price को छोड़ के और सारे factors जब change हो रहे हैं, any of the factors such as increase in income, rise in the price of substitute good, right? In that case, increase in demand will take place. You know, in increase in demand, there is a rightward shift. On the other hand, जब decrease in demand होता है, it is because of the factor decrease in the price of substitute good, right? Demand decrease हो रही है because of any of the factor, right? In that case, demand curve shifts leftwards. After that, there is a difference between expansion and increase in demand. Here comes the difference, right? Expansion में भी increase हो रहा है, quantity demanded का, and increase में भी increase हो रहा है. But what is the main difference? Expansion में जो increase हो रहा है, that increase is because of fall in price, and जो increase in demand में rightward shift हो रहा है, that is because of any other factor other than price. वो सिर्फ best friend की वजह से हो रहा है, right? Expansion of demand is happening because of the price, and the increase in demand is happening because of any other factor. तो law of demand किस पे work करेगा इन दोनों में से? In expansion of demand, law of demand works, but in increase in demand, law of demand does not work. Right? You can see the schedule also here. In the schedule, you can look at expansion के case में price is falling and quantity demanded is rising. Increase in demand के case में price is constant. Just have a look. Price is constant and quantity demanded is rising from one amount to other. And you can see the difference. उसमें movement होता है, downward movement, and in the other case, in the increase in demand, there is a rightward shift. Similarly, I am just showing you the difference between contraction of demand and decrease in demand. दोनों में decrease होता है, but contraction is because of increase in prices, and decrease in demand is because of any other factor. Demand जब decrease हो रही है. So I hope this chapter is clear, right? I have completed theory of demand, so I will come up with price elasticity of demand in the next video. So till then, bye bye. See ya for today.